Hi everybody, welcome back to RMI 4292. We're going to be doing insurance ratio assignment, and basically, as you can see here, I have opened the State Farm Florida uh, balance sheet, income statement, 5-year historical data. And yeah, I was getting a little comments saying it's a little confusing, and I'm just going to show you right here. It's a whole bunch of jumbled answers, but we have about like 9 ratios that we need to figure out. So why don't we just get started with it now? We gotta look at the premium to surplus ratio, which is the net written premiums divided by policyholder surplus. I would do this in Excel and create let me move that real quick. Create a separate tab for your answers for the assignment. But let's look at premium to surplus ratio, which they define as net written premiums divided by policyholder surplus. So when we look at the 5-year historical, remember the Dr. Dunn is looking for where if the data exists in the 5-year historical, then get all 5 years. If it doesn't, then just get the current year and the prior year. And I'll show you what that means. So basically, um, what is it called? Net written premiums, we can see right here. Net written premiums and get the total. This line right here. All you want to do is we're going to create a formula for this, but this is your net written premiums for 2024. Now we're looking for policyholder surplus. What the heck is policyholder surplus? If we're going to look for the 5 years, you got to look for surplus as regards to policyholders. So let me actually delete this part. I don't need that. But right here, surplus as regard to policyholders. So if we want to do premium to surplus equals uh, premium, net written premiums divided by surplus, policyholder surplus right here. That would be your answer. And you want to make it a percentage. I go to 2 decimal points. And if you want for 2020, let's actually Command X, put this right here. And if you want 2024 to 2020, yeah, to 2021, and make this a number. If you want it from there, all you got to do is, and actually I need 2020 as well, 2020, just drag it. And you're going to be like, wow, where did it get that number from? This is 2021 number, 2021, and 2021. All right, so that's the first one. Why don't we look at the next one? Reserves to surplus ratio, unearned premium reserve plus loss in the loss adjustment expense reserves divided by policyholder surplus. So we have unearned premium reserve, which is unearned premium reserve. Let me just make sure I take a look at that. We can only get, yeah, we can get all 4 or 5 years for that. So why don't we find it? So I found it, and all you gotta do is remember, it's unearned premium reserve. So unearned premium reserve, and actually you want to make sure you have this in parentheses. Unearned premium reserve plus, uh, what is it called? Losses plus, your loss adjusted expenses, close parentheses, divided by, your surplus as regards to policyholders. Boom, there's your percentage, and you can drag that out. How do you check? You see, it takes the numbers from 2020 and puts it in the 2020 category. And let me check right here. Yep, that's correct. So why don't we move on to liquidity ratio? I have no idea where I cut the video, but basically for liquidity ratio, all you gotta do is go to assets and go down to where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Cash and short-term investments, and you can see that right here. Actually, no, sorry, wrong section. Right here, subtotals cash and invested assets, because we're looking for cash and invested assets, divided by, and you can do parentheses, and I would go down here and do right here, the losses, oop, that's not losses plus loss adjustment plus unearned premium. Where is that? Unearned premium. Right here. and close that, enter, and you get 195.09 or oh 06. Drag it out. You can't because it doesn't exist. And so what I would look at, and let's make sure I got that number right. Boom. So we have this number for 2024. And if honestly, if you wanted 2023, all you got to do is take that equals the, where is it? Cash and short-term investments right here. Aggregate subtotal cash and invested assets divided by, go to your liabilities page. This is liabilities. And you can find losses plus, and actually I should really put this in parentheses, plus loss adjustment plus where is it? Losses, loss adjustment, unearned premiums is right here. And close that, and you should have another number. And that's how you get 2023's number. Let's go ahead and look at profitability, profitability ratio. Let's look at loss ratio, and that is defined by incurred losses plus loss adjustment expense. All you want to do for loss ratio is make sure you put a parentheses first. Is it typing? Should be typing. Equals this. And you want to go to your statement of income for your loss ratio and take losses incurred plus I did losses incurred plus loss adjustment expense. I'm just checking to make sure I'm getting the formula right, and divide that by premiums earned, and this will get you the 2024 number right here. Let's take a look. Loss ratio, boom, easy peasy. Let's look at the next one. Oops, cancel. Let's not do that. Remember, you can only get two for these 2 years because you're looking at the income statement, liabilities, and assets. If you have the 5-year one data, you're going to get 5. So let's look at expense ratio. Underwriting expenses divided by written premiums. So we have underwriting expenses, and we're going to find that in the statement of income. Underwriting expenses. Let me see where that is. Underwriting expenses. I'm pretty sure that's the loss um, adjusted expenses divided by oh, hold on. There should be a underwriting expenses. I apologize. This is not where we're looking. You gotta look for, if you want the underwriting expenses, you're gonna go to statement of income and look for other underwriting expenses, and you're gonna have it right here and divide that by written premiums. And how do we find written premiums? All you gotta do is, oh yeah, underwriting expenses right here, and divide that by, wrong tab, written premiums, or premium written, and take the total of that right here, this 1,000 line or billion line, and you get 31. Let's make sure I got it right here, 31, and drag it to the right. And you can only get two of these because you only have 2 years here. And you have basically that 28.31. So, um, let's go ahead and get the next one. Combined ratio. So we just did the loss ratio, we just did the expense ratio. This one's the simplest, and all you need to do is go to your loss ratio and your expense ratio, and all you need to do is take this number plus this number, and you get your combined ratio. And you can drag it to the right once because you have another year for 2023, and you get the 2023 number. So let's look at the operating ratio, and it tells you that it is the combined ratio, which we just calculated right here, divided, or yeah, minus the investment income ratio. But it doesn't tell us what the investment income ratio is. But after a little research, we got the investment income ratio, which is your net investment gain or loss divided by your earned premiums. How do we find this number? All you got to do is equals net investment gain or a loss. So we would look at the surplus side, and you see here investment gain or loss right here. Sorry, that took me a little bit. Net investment gain or a loss in your statement of income, and divide that by, what did we say we're dividing it by? Earned premium. So stick to your invest and divide it by your premiums earned, and you get a number here. Should be quite small, really. Um, and yeah, it matches. And if you want 2023, drag it to the right, and you just subtract. All you want to do is take your operating your or sorry, not operating. You want to take the combined ratio. So if you want to get operating ratio, you take your combined minus your investment ratio, and you get this number, which matches right here, these two. And if you want to drag it to the right, go ahead. All right, everybody. So for your investment yield ratio, you want to take your net investment gain or loss, which is right here, and divide it by the what is it called? The total cash and invested assets. And you want to take it from here because that is the current year and what the regulator is going to see. And you can drag it out to the right. And it should be that correct number right here. So return on policyholder surplus, let's take a look at that. All right, so for return on policyholder surplus, you want to take your net income, which is in your statement of income. So net income right here, that 130 million divided by policyholder surplus, which is at the end, surplus as regard to policyholders after all the calculations, and boom, you get 14.27. You can drag that out to the right once, and those are your numbers. So basically, for the rest of the assignment, all you got to do is explain if you saw a pattern, and did they rate, were they stable or were they changed significantly? If there's a pattern, explain it. So I hope I helped you with the math. That probably was the most challenging part, just looking through the statement. But I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in class.